Good evening, and welcome back to my silly art show. There's nobody here yet, but sometimes I just like to talk because when people listen to the playback, it gives them something to listen to. And so, on that note, a thought occurred to me today. Hello, Rexes. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I was just thinking today, I don't know, I stumbled across this channel on Instagram that it's like a funny video channel where, I don't know, the guy just finds like really, really bad cringe videos of people on, the internet or something. I don't know where, but a lot of the videos are from like the 90s and 80s and 90s when people had VHS, and most of them are people singing and they're out of tune and just trying to do performances and act like they're famous, but they have no talent. And it's super bad and cringe and funny at the same time, kind of. It's hard to watch people trying to do a sincere performance and have no idea about how god awful they are. It's I can only really watch so much of it, and I don't know. I had a horrifying thought that, like, God, am I, like when I do my music or this or that or my own art, am I embarrassing myself? Am I doing something stupid that's like not good? I know I have talent and I know that I'm not bad or whatever, but that led me to think, okay, well, back up a bit, you're fine. However, this idea of like making music specifically that is like explicitly ethno-nationalist or white positive, I think there's a real danger of being cringe in doing that and making sure that it's not tacky. I mean, because if you're going to do that, you'd better really, really, really touch people's hearts. Otherwise, you're having the opposite effect of what you're trying to do, Hello to Craig. Welcome back. The middle of last night's conversation, my friend called and needed my help, so I had to leave. Oh, you're fine, buddy. You don't need to explain anything. You are a sovereign individual, free to come and go as you please. Yes. Because I'm in the middle of a huge transition in my life, and I'm not going to talk about it because it's a little too personal, but once I get settled in, there's this music studio equipment I'm going to purchase, and I'll be able to finally get down to recording and not have to depend on other people and shit. In fact, not only that, but I'll be able to import other people's music into my system and do vocals on their tracks and stuff. So I'm fucking excited about it. I'm really, really excited. But then, so that's my point, is this, it's just been in my mind, like, well, what kind of music are you going to write? What's it going to be about? And I sort of feel like I need to lean back into music that's about my personal experience. Because that is genuinely where art comes from. It's, I'll give you an example. There's a song I wrote called My Truth. It's a really, really popular song among the people that I know and people who follow my YouTube. Could possibly be my best song, to be honest with you. I've got other songs that are more complicated, but none of them are as like sort of fun as this one, and kind of very pop. It's a really, really pop oriented song. Anyway, where am I going with this? So, okay, it was based, I didn't write it with the intention of like, oh, I'm gonna give this to the White Art Collective, or I'm gonna somehow use this as part of my, white identity politics, blah blah blah. And but here's the thing: the general theme of the song can fit that. It can actually, speak to the issues that we have. My truth being the situation that we find ourselves in, where you're trying to speak for yourself, to stand up for yourself, represent yourself among people who hate you and don't want to listen to your perspective, and find a way somehow or other to demoralize you and demean you and illegitimize you, if that's a word, to make it so that you're not a human being and your perspective, your experience is not valid. This is one of the most horrible, dehumanizing experiences. And it's something that we in the movement experience all the time. In fact, people go to jail for fucking expressing this shit in some countries, like Joel Davis, for example. It's a fucking problem. It's a serious problem. So the general theme of my truth, where I'm, kind of being sarcastic and in a playful way, kind of insulting the person I'm talking to in the film, in the song. It's something that everybody can apply to the movement. So I feel like that's a good formula. You know what I mean? To have songs that are general enough that anybody could listen to it and be like, yeah, man, I dig that. I get the message. It's just a human experience. But at the same time, you can apply directly to, like, okay, like living in fear of, certain neighborhoods or something like that, and how you're gonna, no van de solo, don't walk alone, if you're in certain areas, because, watch your back. Somebody could do some shit to you and, rob, rape, or kill you, kind of shit. Like, that's a kind of a human theme, that people could relate to, but it certainly very, very, very much relates to what we experience. And then, like, if I were to drop, I forget the Ukrainian girl's name, the one that was famously stabbed in the neck, and they've got like murals of her now and such. If I were to kind of drop that in there, or make reference to a girl on a bus, from a foreign land, and came to live the American dream and ended up with a knife in her neck, you can kind of feel out what I'm saying, I think. But to be just so like white man stand up is like, I think, pretty cheesy, a little on the cringy side. Like, that's not really. I don't want to be doing music like that. Is what I'm saying. Let's read some chats. Hey, hey, hey. Got a little jungle music on in the background. Keep the energy up. Let's read. Craig says, well, that's the point of using white positive language framework. White positive is on. Yeah. That's, I would say, one of the best things about Jason's system is the dialectic. And I would also add that we need a lot more of it. We should be just inventing new words, creating a whole new vocabulary. Like, for example, like, there's an expression around, this is kind of a racist thing to say, but it's an expression that I'm using for a point. I'm making a point in a discussion. Some people will say, around blacks don't relax. And so, it's obviously what it is, but maybe there's a better way to say that, or maybe even a more coded way to say that. Again, that's just an example of what I'm trying to get across here. Let's reading on. But I feel you with not being cringe about, especially comes posting things, publishing, yes. Rexus says, I watched episode 1 of the third season of Primal. I don't know what Primal is. I'm not as cool as you, bro. Get me up to date with the cool kids. I want to sit at the cool kids' lunch table. Craig says, Fornall pulled it off pretty well with some of his songs. I have not checked out Fornall's music in a long, long time, but the dude is insanely talented. Insanely talented. What a beast, man. That dude, wow. Incredible talent. Like, wow, you know. Anyway, let's move on. Craig says, yes, but the intelligence, trial and error, but with intelligence. That's good advice. That's good advice, Craig. Das ist gut, ja. Alright, you son of a... Moving right along, as they say. A little jungle. I remember when I first discovered jungle music. It was quite a while ago. I was in a phase in my life where I was moving out of my hometown and moving to New York City. This is fucking cool. Damn, that's sick. That's a cool beat. And somehow or other, just through the people that I met in like Brooklyn and elsewhere, New York, whatever, I just came across, you know, jungle music. And I already liked, you know, electronica. So I was really like, wow, man, this is freaking cool. Wow, dude. And then I remember taking a break and coming back to my hometown, getting together with just my crew, whatever, my college buddies and stuff. And they were like, you know, they knew that I moved to New York City, and that was kind of a big deal at the time. It's like, whoa, he moved to New York City, you know. I guess that's an impressive thing to college kids. And I was like, you guys got to check out this new kind of music. It's called jungle. You know, and then I played some. I was talking about going to clubs in the city of New York and dancing to this and stuff. And they're like, how the fuck do you dance to this? You know, because it's just so whacked out, you know. Wacky. Oh, man. It's quite a thing to look back on my youth. And I'm young at heart. Everyone, my big secret is that I'm a lot older than what people think. But that's because I don't act like an old person. Like, people my age that I went to high school with are all bitter and boring as fuck. And they're just, like, way out of touch with what's going on in the world. And I love them. They're, you know, people I grew up with. I love them. But damn, are they fucking boring to hang out with in a lot of cases. Not all of them, but, like... And it's like, okay, I just can't do the same thing over and over. Over and over and over. Oh, this is a classic. I'm gonna do this up. 21 seconds. It felt like I was in this long dark tunnel. Bloody hell. Alright, let's view a message. We got I can't read this. So cheat ream or Soch eat ream. I guess I'm not a good reader. Let's check it out. Let's see. How are we doing, So Cheat Reader 663? Welcome to the show. There's a little bit of comic book illustration action going down. Design. And we got all kinds of open, free speech conversation happening. Jump in. You got something to say? What do you think about the events on the world stage right now? Are you, I don't know where you're from. Are you from America? Are you from another country? I get a lot of people from different countries. A lot of the people that find this stream tend to be artists or like to make art or learn art. So I don't know. I'm just welcoming you, hoping you feel free to chat with us as I do my comic book inking. Let's read some chats. We got Craig. I got to see it. Thanks for suggestion. Tarkovsky sounds like a Western name. Primal is an animated series by Gennady Tarkovsky. That would be Russian, I think. All right, let's see what it says here. It's basically Caveman Conan with dinosaurs and dark fantasy elements. Lovely, lovely. Craig says, Rexa says, Gennady, he's Russian. That's also partially why I like the show. It celebrates masculinity and the urge to continue your bloodline. Fuck yeah, man. None of this femi bullshit, you know what I'm talking about? None of this cultural Marxist bullshit. Death to cultural Marxism. Oh, man, it's done a lot of damage. It has done a lot of damage. Lahada. We're not out of the woods, folks. It's kind of like, how would I say it? Like, the whole notion of like cultural Marxism specifically is harmful to women, turns them against their own bodies, turns them against their own instincts, turns them against each other, turns them against men, turns them against their children. I mean, what better way to genocide a people than to brainwash their women into destroying their own families? You know what I'm saying? That's some dark ass shit right there, and that is exactly what cultural Marxism is in the form of feminism. But of course, it's a bigger problem. We're gonna move on here. I couldn't find it on Tubi. My friend has a trial Japanese anime, all kinds of animation. Hello, Rexus' Primal is available on DVD. Okay, wait, yeah, but airs on Adult Swim. I'm getting better at drawing faces, cartoon repetitions. Is that? Oh, it's an Adult Swim. Okay, so yeah, it's a big endeavor that I've been planning on creating an art curriculum. And so what it would be is an actual, how do I say, an actual course that you would pay for online and go to a specific site and, pay for the course and then take the course as if it's like an online course, a college course, something of that nature. Only the difference is that I will be integrating it with our ideology. And it'd be very blatantly anti-Marxist. So put your hats on, put your seatbelts on, folks. There's gonna be some fighting going down. There's gonna be some shit hitting the fan. Yes, sirs. this character is so complicated. Especially after they get much validation, creates illusion of social power, creating actual social power gets a little complex. So, this Primal cartoon, what's the style of the cartoon? Is it in an anime style or more like a Western comic style? Is it aesthetically beautiful, or is it like one of those super cheesy, simple lines, like made for retard kind of consumption? You know what I'm saying? Where you've got like what's the fucking what's it called? Bedtime? Magic Time? What the fuck is that called? It's got the skinny little kid with the sword and the little yellow dog. Nightmare Time? I don't know what it's called. Like that, I despise that form of animation. It makes me want to fucking punch somebody. It's so ugly. Adventure Time. Oh man, I really despise that style. It's interesting how like an animation style can make you angry, but you know what I mean. It's as if like the style itself is like an assault on aesthetics. It's like how much can we dumb this shit down? Like how fucking far can we dumb this shit down? Like, it's god awful. It's god awful. Now, on the other hand, then you have shows like Gumball, which are incredible. Gumball has like several forms of animation, 3D, 2D combined, and the stories are hysterical. They're like crazy. They're just super silly and funny and crazy. And there's not really like you don't get a really bad messaging from it or anything like that. The only bad thing is that like every fucking TV commercial, the father is a complete buffoon. He's like a total buffoon. And I really hate seeing, you know, the American family is like the mom is always the boss. You know, I fucking hate that shit. And they've been doing that for years, man. Fucking years, you know. It's just, it's so insulting. It's so fucking insulting. You know? Oh, God, that shit's driving me nuts. When I'm king, we're going to need a lot of rope. Oh, my God. Okay, let's maybe zoom out a little bit here. Our new friend has not said a word. That's too bad. Hey, Mint Does Stuff Badly is here. Welcome. I'm going to eat the artwork. Excellent. That would be cool. Adventure Time, you were right. You got it. Can I eat the art? Yes, you may, but I would put a little salt on it because it's kind of needs a pinch of salt. Nummy num nums. Tell you what, I got a new friend here. Let's show our new friend some art, okay? So give me a second. I'm going to back out, and I'll show you some other work that I do. Hang on. You are in for a treat. So these are some pages of my original comic book called Militia Man. And it's got some badass fight scenes in it and shit. And here's Militia Man, but in this scene, he transforms into Militia. He goes from Militia Man to this other character called Dark Maga. So, in the story, he doesn't know that his father's an angel, and he was born to fight this giant demon that's going to take over the earth. And here's the sequence. he comes home one day to see his wife, and he's like, "Honey, I'm home." And he gets the key. "Hello, honey. Honey, why aren't you answering me?" And then it turns out that she was murdered, and she's pregnant on top of it. So he fucking loses his mind, and he changes into like an evil, not evil, but like a dark superhero. Did you ever see the movie Black Adam with The Rock? Black Adam is a character that it's very similar to that, where in ancient times he was betrayed, and they killed his son, and all this shit, slavery and all this shit, and then he comes back imbued with the powers of a god, and he just wants revenge. So he's not innately evil. He's not a villain, but he's on his villain arc, if you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So, and to me, this expresses my own transformation from when I was like a normie Republican Trump fan to an esoteric Hitlerist, far right, third positionist, which is what I do. So, but let's look at some artwork. Take a little break from the other stuff I was doing. Got a couple. What's it? Hey, Dave A1 is here. Woohoo! You came just in time, Dave A. Nice. Get a look at this cool shit here. This guy's got invisibility powers, smacks the shit out of this scientist, and then he zaps him with this like brain control drug because they want to get him to open the portal for the demon. It's a really long graphic novel. There's a hell of a lot of. Oh, there's the scene where he sees his wife has been killed, and he got so angry he like blew the roof off of his own house, and his eyes have turned black. The tears on his eyes have stained into his face. So like forever, from now on he'll have like black tears burnt right into his face. And he discovers these flowers left by Judeo-Christian News and a letter. So he knows who was the one that killed his wife. So he goes to the Judeo-Christian News headquarters, which is right there. And there's already a battle going on between the different teams, and a lot of cool shit's going down. This is such a good fucking comic book, man. I've got to finish this shit, dude. Rohim. It's so fucking good, and the characters have cool powers. This guy's called Song of the South. He's like a Southern rebel superhero, and obviously he's got like sonic scream powers. Fucking cool. Plus we've got like a pagan woman who has this kind of pagan magical powers. Sonata is here. Sonata Def Fate is here. Hey everyone, good to see you live again, Donald. Thanks. I'm not as consistent. I'm sorry about that, but welcome to life, right? Anyway, here's the demon Noahide. He's sitting on the steps of the Capitol building in DC, like the new king of America. And he's like, "Oh, finally, someone to play with. Come on down here and play with me." And Militiaman Dark Maga is like, "Yo, you fucking bastard, I'm gonna kill you." He just wants to kill. He's just in this terrible mode, and so the Noahide vomits this acidic bile on him, and he's screaming, "Ah!" And his father, the angel, sees this. It's like, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!" And he's like, "Okay, you guys need to stop arguing and put your money where your mouth is. Get in the battle. We've got to help him. We've got to get rid of this demon." So yeah, this is just a page from earlier in the story. Different characters. Oh, this is brutal. Brutal. This is the scene where Militiaman sees his wife. Now she didn't kill herself. It was made to look like she killed herself. that's kind of the Mossad of it right here. It's a very this is an extremely disturbing image. Her water broke, so that would mean, of course, her baby inside is dead. It's very, very harsh. And then these twisted faces are meant to be the emotional phases that he's going through with shock, horror, grief, terror, anger, and then in the very last two panels you see he's crying, and then when he opens his eyes are black, jet black, and that's when he transforms into Dark Maga. This is another scene in the story. These pages are totally out of order, so it's not making a lot of sense, but it's a whole hell of a lot of badassery going on here, bro. Let's read some comments. I'm doing a timeline for another story idea. Good to hear it. Sonata says, hey, everyone. Oh, I already read that. Craig, this is a newer comic. Well, it's an old comic, meaning I stopped doing this to do the current one that I'm doing. The current one that you've been watching me is called The Alliance, newdelphimedia.com, newdelphimedia.com. Go there today. And that's a job. They pay me to illustrate that. So, when the job is done and I get my money, I'm going to go back to doing this fellow right here. And I am actually publishing this on my Substack. So if you subscribe to my Substack for like $3 a month or something, you get to see updates. I get the pages lettered, there's like word balloons on there and you can read it. So if you go to look up Donald Kent Art on Substack.com, you can actually see this and other comics. In fact, one of the comics, this is a big secret, one of the comics on my Substack is, very, very Fed posty. Very, very Fed posty. It's contraband. It's really, really, really controversial. To me, look at this guy right. Is that not? That's fucking sweet right there. That's a nice little drawing right there. I don't know. There's something about this. I'm sorry. I know I'm complimenting myself. You're not supposed to do that. But like every once in a while, I hit a sweet spot, and I'm like, ooh, that's nice. That's good. Here's the bad guy with the egghead. He's talking to one of his minions about what to do. Here we go back to Baal, Moloch, child sacrifice. It all ties together with the modern Judeo-Christian global order, Noahide law, all of that stuff. It's all tied together. So there's no graphic novel that's even close to this stuff. There's Sheepdog, really cool character. He's like a, what do you call those? I forget the name of them already. Oh, they're basically like dudes that are like ex-military, law enforcement, but they're patriots, And the something bros, what are they called? I forget the damn name for it, but damn, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, whatever. So he's fighting these bitches, and some shit's going down, and blah blah blah. Now that's a fun moment here where he smashes the fascies on a Muslim character. Now this Muslim's character's powers, take a guess what it is. Exploding. Is that too cliche? Let's read some comments. We got Sonata says, have you heard of the crazy anti-Semitism and hate speech laws they're bringing in here in Australia? Dude, I'm friends with Joel Davis. Like, I've interviewed him twice on this channel. If you look around in this channel, you'll find it. And I've been on panel discussions with him. Right now, I forget, Thomas Sowell. He's like one of the leaders in that group. They had to disband their group because of the new laws. But they are doing a crowdfunder now to fight these so-called anti-Semitism laws. So that it's going to become like a court battle. Yeah, it's like how much can you fucking rely on the courts when the fucking judges and the cops and everything are all paid for by the Jews, you know? There's no law. There's no safety. There's no system. There's just slavery. There's just Noahide law. That's why we have to transform from this into this. That is the message. I don't know if I'm even lawfully allowed to say anything about it, this comic at all. Right, I would be very cautious. Don't say anything, because you're living in hell. I have a great idea for a joke, Rexus says. My friend made this joke. How do you spell website again? That's a weird thing to say. Go on, Rexus. The JDAR. Oh, yeah, it's on my JDAR. That's a good one. I've actually heard of that before, though. It detects tiny hats. Har, har, har. Instead of gaydar. Yes, yes, yes. Good one, good one. Oy vey. Shut it down. I really want to get a look once I get more money. When a tiny hat gets too close, my JDAR goes off. Wow, brilliant. Oy vey. Just have to get my finances in order. This comic is very interesting, Sonata says. Pastiche of internet culture, correct. It can be a bit unsuitable, but I like that it exists. Good. Craig says, makes sense, reminds me of the Exploding Man from Heroes. The TV series Heroes? That's quite old, but I love that series. I remember when that came on. Of course, I've been doing comics for a long time. And I mean, I wasn't very, I had to learn how to draw and all this other shit. It took a long time. But whatever. And when that series came on, I was like crazy about it. I had to watch every episode. I got all excited about it. Anyway, there it is, folks. Dark MAGA. So now I got to get back to work on Trump versus Putin. So, but before I do that, I need a little water. Because hydration. You gotta stay hydrated for the end of the world. Yeah, that was a fantastic TV series. Puts Stranger Things to shame. Sometimes water just hits the spot. Yeah, and it was so different for its time. I think whoever the producers were, they could really feel like the comics culture was in the air, and people were ready for that. Yes. All right, so let's continue here. Back to work. So, what else is new? Yeah, just a lot of changes, a lot of things going down. I'm going to be going through a bit of an upheaval soon-ish in my life. Not a bad thing, but just I don't want to talk about it because it kind of doxes me a bit, so I can't get into what's going to happen. But it's going to affect like how much time I have to do streams and things like that, because I'll be busy working on other stuff. In the end, it'll all come together, though. Sonata says, hold on, I got something else here. view Butte. Okay, we'll show that one for some reason. Another moderator just handled this. Oh, interesting. I never got into Stranger Things. Seemed like slop nostalgia bait. Heroes had some really good ideas. I love the focus on how ordinary human stories mixed with the superhero stuff. It's just, I mean, I should go back and watch it again, because it's like, wow, there's so many interesting aspects to the concepts of it. Save the cheerleader, save the world. The guy with the paintings, and he could paint the future. And the villain was so disturbing. It was very, very disturbing because he's a guy with superpowers, and what he would do is track down other superheroes and kill them and eat their brains. And when he eats their brains, he gains their powers. Oh, nasty. That's freaking nasty. So, and the actor that they had for that is just a real creepy looking dude. He's got like kind of what I would call like low eyebrows or whatever that give him like this natural villain mean face, if you know what I'm trying to say. He played Spock on the Star Trek movie. I don't know what he's doing with his career, but anyway, yeah. Season 1 of Stranger Things, I think, was interesting and good, and then, of course, there's dumb shit in it, right? There's woke shit in it. That's like, oh god, it's like you just can't get around that shit. It's just everywhere, Fucking awful. Let's read. I think indie creators need to make more interesting settings. Huh, okay. Sylar was a great villain. Sylar. Sylar was his name. The actor also had a great focus and detachment. Indeed. There's a weird story about that actor. A friend of mine. Oh boy, what's the situation? He was a writer in television, and he meets a lot of these actors and stuff. And he met that particular actor, Sylar, the villain. And when he met him, the guy had just returned from like Peru to go do ayahuasca. So holy shit, it was a kind of a fad, I guess, a fashion or whatever for a while there for all these Hollywood elites to go to like South America and find like a shaman and then do ayahuasca. Because Hollywood people have no spirituality. DJ Isher, DJL, sure, one. Been looking at some of your stuff. Not gonna lie, bro. Your art is literal shit. Man, that was heavy. That was a heavy, heavy blow. That's it. I quit right now. I'm gonna go work at McDonald's for the rest of my life. Thank you for saving me from myself. I'm so glad that you came on to give me that advice. I hope it makes you feel better. Probably does. I will say that my art can always use improvement. But I'm not made out of eggshells, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been around, And then when, like, I don't know, 98% of the people like your art and have great things to say about it, and then a couple strangers on the internet pop on and say something like that. I guess it's a numbers game, you know what I mean? You kind of look at that and you're like, to each his own, I suppose. What I am concerned with, though, is that when people make insults like that to, well, I shouldn't say an insult. Let's just say that's your opinion, okay? If you're saying that to like hurt me emotionally, that's that's a problem. Not for me, but for you, because it's not a really good thing to do to people. You know what I mean? I know, but some people, that's how they roll. You know, maybe it's gamer culture or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. What do we got? What do we got? Get replaced, by the way. Oh, he's got to be an Antifa or something, I would imagine. Rexa says, I remember a show called Murder Drones. It's an indie, but it's not interesting. I like the art style and the idea, but it's not interesting. I am apathetic to it. Well, what is that? Tell me more about this show, Indie. Like, what was it? Why were you not interested in it? Sonata says, you're a trolley, or do you have a meaningful contribution? Troll. You know, whatever. He can just, you do you, right, babe? You do you. It's funny because, like, see, this is the difference between the left and the right. The left are defined by what other people think of them. They are really, really, really controlled by their tribe. You know, whatever the tribe says, the tribe says the sky is green and the grass is blue, and boys are girls and girls are boys, then they yes, that's, you know, they follow that like religiously, because their whole existence depends on being accepted by the tribe. You know, there's no ability to do any kind of critical thinking. So then they wander over into right-wing circles, and they try to hurl insults at us as if we are them, as if we care, as if we're not individuals with our own ideas, and we don't use logic and all of that other stuff. And they can't understand why we don't just like fold up and fly away like a little piece of toilet paper like they are, you know. And you know, they kind of burn themselves out. They'll say a few things, throw a few stones, and then they just kind of fade away, you know. Go back to Reddit or Twitter or wherever all their buddies are. And then they can say, yeah, I was on this show, and I saw this Nazi, and like, I told him art was literal shit. And his friends will go, yay, punch a Nazi. Oh, man. I mean, that's not my first rodeo. You know what I'm saying? Not my first rodeo. I worry that people on this side of things also let the dark side win too much. Like, don't be black-pilled is what I gotta say about that, yeah. People are full of hate and contempt for their fellow man these days. It's disconcerting sometimes, but all you can do is move on from people like that. I'm not concerned. Rexus, or more insidiously subvert our ideas. Well, now that's a topic right there. That's a thing to get into. Yeah, those. There's a great deal of danger in that when you have people who steal our talking points and drive all the traffic over into some kind of like, you know, gatekeeping zone or what have you. But there is a kind of a critique that I have of that, in that a lot of our guys are like, you know, anyone who's established cannot be trusted. And I'm like, think about what you're saying here for a second. Like, what that means is that nobody can win. Like, we can never, ever go mainstream. You know, because if you're going to look at everything in that kind of paranoid way, then we can't win. This is not how things should be. So that's me. That's my thoughts on the matter. You can take that to the bank. All right. All right. Redditors are proof of why we need an Aryan beast in our lives. Well done. Well said. Morris. Craig says, I remember being really into Batman Mask of the Phantom when I was younger. I might check it out again. That sounds cool. Das ist gut, ja. It is funny attracting senseless haters, though. Every once in a blue moon, someone will pop in. Every once in a while, it's not very common. I don't know what to tell you. It's just they're around. What can I tell you? It's just a part of life, basically. You gotta deal with them. Hey there, Mika Vinny is here. Wonderful. Hi. Your art is amazing. I don't know why you aren't famous. You're like the 110th person who said that to me in my show. So it's too bad, Mika, that you weren't here like 5 minutes ago, because there was another guy that came on, and he said, it's in the chat if you scroll up. He says, your art is literal shit. And then he basically said, like, I hope your people get replaced. Wow. What a mean guy. Hold on. I'm going to do something special for Mika because she's such a sweetie. So let me grab some artwork to show you. I like to show artwork to new friends. Let me quickly pop on here. Oh, damn it. Hold on. I'm grabbing my art book that is on Amazon. Yes. Well, it's too bad our friend from Reddit isn't here, because he would get to see more of my art and insult me even more. So, anyway, this is for you, Mika Vinny, since you are so awesome. Redditus Colossus must be stopped. Anyway, so this is my book. Let me move my camera a little tiny bit. And it's called Imperium Calling, The Art and Poetry of Donald Kent. And then you got some intro stuff. You got some poetry here. You know what? Why don't we read some poetry? This would be fun. I'm going to dedicate this poetry reading to all the Redditor leftist Antifa who harass right-wing ethno-nationalists on the internet. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Did you take the red pill? Still on the blue pill? These days, so many ways to wake up. Does the SJW deeply trouble you? And all your friends just want to break up? Thought police in the streets, censoring our freedom of speech. We say no. We say no. Did you take the white pill? Did you take the black pill? These days, so many ways to lose hope. They want to erase us, but they won't replace us. These days we ride a slippery slope. Shitlords unite, don't give up the fight. The West is the best. Shitlords unite, don't give up the fight. The West is the best. It's okay to be white. You don't have to thank me for posting those dank memes. Winning InfoWars needs to get done. They'll try to dox you, try to outfox you, find a way to take our guns. We're the last generation to stop Islamification. The Western world is counting on us. So wake up the normies and prepare for glory. Let's grind Marxism into dust. Thought police in the streets censoring our freedom of speech. We say no. Who's the man with the plan, with the Kekistan flag in his hand? Now let's go. So I actually have a song of this. If you look in my music on this channel, you'll hear the song Thought Police. It's like a punk rock kind of song. Anyway, let's move forward here. We'll look at some artwork. There's some cover. This is a painting I did when I was like 19 years old, but the theme is still there. I will see the song later. Good, thank you. Some landscape painting. This is some of my conceptual art. I feel this is a kind of like visual poetry of the song on my playlist. Oh, cool, Craig. I'm happy to hear that. Full Moon Ancestry was a guy that did right-wing podcasting, and he lives in Europe and travels around a lot. He's an interesting guy. More concept art, more portraiture. Oh, that's cool. This again, I do a lot of portraiture, so it's kind of enjoyable. This guy here is Francis Parker Yockey, who is a famous dissident. He wrote a book called Imperium, hence the name Imperium Calling. So that's based on his ideas. Pretty heavyweight philosopher. So that's a lot of fine art stuff there. And then I also do illustration, book illustration, website illustration, graphics, all kinds of cool stuff like that. These are illustrations from a book about white slavery that is this part of history that never gets told. There's some caricatures of different characters, people. A little more artwork here. These are illustrations for fantasy, a fantasy short story novel called Bizarchives. I think the cover is in here. Let me see if I can find the cover. So again, I wish our guy from Reddit was back here. He could tell me what absolute utter shit my artwork is. He's missing out on a great opportunity. That's too bad. I'm going to read some chats here. I'm flying through this a little too fast. Yeah, the song is really based. You'll love it. It's a lot of fun. There's actually a studio and a live version of it, and you can tell me which one's better. So reading chat, let's see, Rexus. What's edgy nowadays is saying Christ is King 3 times and then saying the N-word. Hard art. You did the after party illustration. Yes, I'm the dude. Can you believe that? Bro, I'm the guy that made the after party. Now you know. Now you know. So that's Jason Kuna right there. And he was one of the first people that I spoke to and I did freelance work for in the white identity movement back in like 2016. So it's been freaking 10 years, bruh. 10 years in the movement. Oh, but just a quick reminder, my art is utter shit. So just so you're aware that this is utter shit. There's one of the covers for the Bizarchives. There's some of the, like my Militia Man stuff is here. Gives you a little look. More utter shit for you to enjoy. Sonata says there's lots of interesting material here. It's a shame many people don't like it. take an interest in the arts like this. Thanks for sharing. Well, I'm working on that. I got a new show coming up. Actually, on the 23rd is the first show with Greg Johnson. It's called Imperium Calling. It's a nationalist culture review. And so it's going to be more like a fun talk show, not, I mean, there'll be heavy conversation or, interesting political conversation, but we're going to watch funny reels, right-wing underground reels and shit, and look at the culture of the right wing. We have our own culture, and we don't get enough airplay. People don't get to see what it is that we are, what we do, all of that. So anyway, there's an old portrait of me when I was younger and more conflicted. I prefer this to AI slop. There's a story and intention here, even if they lock you up. Scratch it into the walls. Oh, jeez, dude. Well, so that's the fight that we're in. Yeah, Rexus says the art is good. A neat of old and new. A mix of old and new. 1960s style mixed with modern coloring. Yeah, I really am dying to get back into painting. I miss painting like so badly. And I'm gonna be doing more figure drawing, where you have live models, and then I'll kind of incorporate them into conceptual art of different kinds. So there's a lot coming down the line here. This is a work of conceptual art. So it has a kind of an illustrative quality to it. But there's certainly a story being told here with the angel, with the British flag on the shield, and is handing the sword to the man, the castle in the background, and this dragon that's made up of all these, the heads and of all of these evil demons. Anyway, I think that's enough of that. I should probably get back to work. I think I might jump ahead to a new page, because I just want to do that. So give me a second. There he is. It's a new page. Well, what do you know? I'll finish that up later, I guess. I don't know if I need to adjust the anatomy on this. I think I might have to fix that. There's a little bit of a problem with the anatomy on this. Her head is like too far away from her body. I've got to adjust that. It's kind of funny because, like, as an artist, when you draw something, you don't want to erase it. You're like, I drew that, and it's like I put the effort into that, and like, nope. If it's not right, it's not right. You got to fix it. So I'll kind of zoom in and figure if her neck is probably about here. This would be under her chin. Her head is leaning on the ground, kind of a little bit back. The nose is about here. Eyes would be about here. Maybe her mouth is something like that. Ears. Yeah, it's coming together. There you go. Let's zoom in on this. I get what you mean. I like the all right, very good. So, Mika, what are you into? What kind of movies, TV, video games, cartoons, manga? What's your thing? So we were having some convo about that earlier. All right, this is starting to take some shape. Do a little erasing here. See how messy that is? But like in the end, it comes out very clear. she's got like a kind of a headscarf on, and so that's what this is here. Mika says, I like anything really, just like mostly like action and that stuff. Okay. That's cool. All right. You see how that works? So if you want to learn how to draw absolute shit, then make sure you take a lesson from Donald Kent. Anyway, I do have to look up. Oh, excuse me. She's got in this scene. I think she's got like a belt with like a gun holster thingy, but I think it's on the opposite hip. I don't know. I could kind of sort of get away with that. I'm not super sure. I can. That's what I want. I'll kind of save that for a little bit later. Just since I'm like live streaming right now. All right, here. That one's too small. Maybe this one. Not big enough. All right. All right, let's read some chat. What does it say? Wow, there's a lot of chat I missed. Let me go back. Hold on. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this, like a cooler image on the screen. There's this scene with this dude smashing through a wall. And then I'm going to read the chats. Thanks for sharing. I prefer The art is good. I like the conceptual and big ideas, symbolic art most of all. Big time. That's me. I agree with you, Sonata. Mika says, I get what you mean. I like anything, mostly action. At age T. I don't know what that means. At what age? Oh, at what age did you start drawing? I started at 3. Weirdly, I started at 3 too. That's very strange, but not, I guess. I don't know. That's interesting. Tell me more. But yeah, I mean, all children draw. It's pretty normal. It's just that, you got to keep drawing throughout your life, But yeah. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Sonata says, I feel like a lot of us are starting to crave some sort of action in real life. 100,000%. The next phase of the movement is IRL. 100%. That's why I'm a big supporter of Return to the Land. That's, to me, that's what it's, that's where we're going. We need to be involved in these kinds of things. So, hold on. I feel like a lot of us crave something in real life, not just watching it on some screen. But I do have a soft spot for action movies. I grew up with them. Mika says, and that looks amazing, and it's not bad. It's amazing. I'm jealous of your art. Aw, thank you. Yay, I really need to learn. I have ideas for my stories. Mika says, jealousy can be good motivator. Just mix it, Sonata says that. Mix it with more positive stuff too. Yeah, I mean, when I look at, for example, when I pull out like a comic book that I like, I'm jealous as hell of like the artists. I'm like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. It's so good. And I want to be like that artist, and be able to draw a certain way. And if you want it so bad, you're going to learn it. It's going to come in time, but you got to put the work in. You got to figure it out. With the internet, all things are possible. Like you can learn anything. You could build a car or something. You could do who knows what. Granted, I guess I don't want someone doing surgery who learned it off YouTube, but nevertheless, you get the idea. So let that be a positive motivation for you rather than, oh, I'll never be that good, so why even try? Meh. That's like a leftist attitude. Screw that. Mika says, okay. Charles is here. Welcome back. Do you like to do photography also? Yes, yes, yes. And yes, I do. I've done tons of photography. I kind of put that on my normie page, though, because a lot of the photography is where I live, like locations, people. And I have a fine art major, and as a result of going to college for art, you have to take sculpture, photography, printmaking. They make you get a fairly broad range of skills, which is great. So, and then on top of that, some of my best friends were photographers, of both like creative and professional, because the deal with photography is that if you want to make money, you're gonna become a wedding photographer. You get where I'm going with that. So it's just like in freelance, you kind of sell your pencil to do T-shirts for people or graphic design for websites and whatever. But I do love photography. It's a deep topic. Without being able to show you any, I can't really say much about my photography. Rexus says, return to the land expanded into Idaho. I'm one state away from Idaho. I know friends in Idaho. I have friends there too. That's brilliant. To be honest, they have several places that, like, the public doesn't even know how many places they have. There's a lot. Like, we are literally building a white ethno state inside America. It's pretty phenomenal. So, not lol. W3E is here. Oh, yes, sir, Bob. It's great to have you, not lol. Welcome to the team. Sonata says, remember I watching a very capable Asian pianist playing a Chopin concerto and burning with jealousy. Oh, those Asians are so good at piano. Asians are phenomenal at copying Westerners. Interesting, huh? What does that say? What does it say? By the way, did you guys know that I lived in Asia for 5 years? You want to talk about that? Ask me anything. Sonata says, I remember watching, I read that. Not lol, I love Marvel-based superhero comics. Then you and I can be friends. God bless you. Your art's really good. Really? Oh, man. I didn't do this comic book. Anyway, I'll pull out my book again, and since you're new, you can see some of my art here. Let's see, your art's really good. See, look at all these lovely people with all their lovely compliments. Here's some of my finished comics, and you can take a look. I got a couple samples from the Serif, and also there's a book I did for a guy named John Della Rose, who is a big time. This is one of my original pieces, original comics. Anyway, John Della Rose is a big name in Comicsgate. Do you guys hear of Comicsgate? So this is some of the artwork comics that I did for him in that world, if you will. Dynamite Thor. It's kind of a neat character. It was a 1930s copyright-free superhero, and that was a really fun project. So, moving on. Sonata says, I love how much positivity can be found here. It drives me mad. So many people portray people like us as hateful, hollow, blah, blah, blah. There are real loving, hoping people to be found. See, dude, you hit a nerve by saying that. Like right wing people, far right people, we can have our little infighting, political disagreements, but these are some of the most wonderful people you'll ever meet. They're highly intelligent, they're highly empathetic, they have really high emotional, social IQ. They're mature, they have taste, they care about aesthetics, they care about community. They're funny, like they're good people, man. They're good fucking people. Go to the left, and it's like, mental illness on parade, literally, and everyone's fucked up. I have, I have friends liberal friends. I don't know how to express this, but like I go dancing on the weekends, and there's a lot of liberals out on the dance scene. And so I see a lot of the shit that they go through and the kind of people that they are, and they're unhappy. They're fucking miserable, unhappy people, and they can go after you. So it's not healthy, not healthy. But anyway, yeah, it's sad. Let's see. Libertarians are envious of Arval. I bet they are. He's like a libertarian's dream. I mean, wow, dude, that's a funny thing to say. Sonata says, "Holy shit, that stuff looks great in color." Yeah, it's like so different when you see my work, compare the black and white to the color. Like it's just fully alive. Fully alive. Look at this. You can't do this in comics. You can't have a blonde, blue-eyed superhero defeating a Muslim terrorist by blowing him up. That doesn't fit the narrative. Hold on a second. That's the religion of peace. Rexa says Asia, Japan, South Korea, more specifically, really like us. They do have a love affair with us, for sure. Mika says, your art is glorious. I wish I could draw like that. And I also love your personality. It's fun and lovely, and you're super sweet. Okay, don't make me blush, okay, Mika, you sweetie. Okay, moving on. Charles says, this movement attracts the best of us. God bless you. Well said. Question, do you know Arab? Like Arabic, the language Arabic? No, I do not. Interestingly, I used to teach art at a school that had like a 35% Muslim population, and one of the teachers was from Egypt, and he invited me to his home, and he wanted to teach me, I guess Arabic. Is that the language they speak in Islam? I'm being really ignorant. I apologize for saying that, but I mean, I speak some Chinese, I speak some Japanese. I did, believe it or not, study Tibetan for a short time, like because I thought I was gonna go to North India and help Tibetan refugees in a place called Dharamsala, but I never ended up going. Interesting. Rexus says, some of my friends from this space helped me through my depression in 2024. The demonization of this space is really just disgusting. I can't punctuate that enough. Like what you just said is so real and so powerful. The media, fuck the media. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's of course all controlled by Jews, but here's a great example. Look at the recent interview, Pierce Morgan interviewing Nick Fuentes. That is a massive, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a shift in the zeitgeist where the younger generation faces off with the older generation, where our ideas have a direct debate with the old guard, the old establishment. And, Fuentes humiliated him. And Pierce showed himself to be a sneaky piece of shit. He was just trying to have all these gotcha moments. And Fuentes didn't apologize for any of them. He doubled down. And so, granted, Fuentes is his own realm and his own world, and that's a whole thing. And we don't all have to agree with everything. And I personally think he has a lot of growing up to do, but I do support America First. But that's not the point. The point is that we are going mainstream. The future is far right, and it's a shame and it's wrong that we've been lied about for so long. This is kind of my mission when I hang out with liberal people in the city and I go dancing. On my social media, I'll post like pro ICE things, and even I'm starting to lean into like pro National Socialism and stuff like that. And it's a subtle way of saying, "Hey, I'm far right." You know me, the guy that you have a great time with every Saturday at the club. Well, in my personal life, my politics are far right, but yet I can hang out with you and have a blast. Like I'm buddies with a whole bunch of black dudes, and we just laugh our asses off and have a good time. Asian dudes, you know, whatever. I just, I'm a human being. It's like, okay, I'm a human being. Like you have to explain that shit to people. It's stupid as fuck. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. I know Arabic. Wow, that's impressive. That's where are you from, Mika? Um, Robert Pyle is here. Welcome, Robert. Ladies and gentlemen, check out Robert Pyle's show. Are you on Odyssey, Robert? I think so. Maybe you can leave a link. Please do if you can. Robert does all kinds of shows. Let's see. Sonata says, request glad people. Oh, request. Glad people were there to help you. Oh, glad people were there to help you. I thought you were referring to like glad as an adjective describing people. Glad people are good. They come and they help other people. Anyway, the demonization is horrid, and they say we want to be cruel to scapegoats. Whatever. Sorry, request Rexus. Oh, I see. Ah, that was glorious seeing Pierce Morgan getting humiliated. I know, dude. It was glorious. Dude, man, it was so funny. Fuentes was like, that's a clip right there, you know? You know, what, you think Hitler is fucking cool? Or whatever. Oh my God, this shit was so funny. Charles says there's tremendous progress in our points have entered the mainstream. And 10 years ago, man, believe me, we never ever thought we'd get here. I mean, shit was bad, and we were so ghettoized. We never thought we'd come this far. Anyway, there's tremendous progress in our points. I read that. We're human. They want to deny that. That's true, because if you can dehumanize us, other us, then you can do violence on us. And that's the whole punch a Nazi meme, is to make it so that it's acceptable to be violent against right wingers. And the way the left is acting to ICE agents is a huge, huge demonstration of that. The cases where demonstrators are using their cars to like block or drive into ICE agents is up like 1,700%, something like that. I read the statistic. That shit's fucking off the charts. They are the evil ones, not us. Look at it's insane. Anyway, Sonata, I always thought the demonization of the space is horrid, even back when I did not agree with the ideas of the space. Interesting. I'm from Palestine. Oh my God. But I'm in a different country right now. Oh my God. Oh man, my heart just broke. Holy cow. Ooh, holy cow. Oh man, that's heavy. That is heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Well, God bless you, Mika. Let me share something interesting with you, Mika. I'm friends, very close friends, with a guy who is Palestinian. He's a Christian. He lives in America. His parents came over here quite a while ago. He pretty much grew up in America, but he's ethnically Palestinian, and his religion is Christianity. Anyway, I met him on my job. We worked together. And at some point, I made a comment about Israel. Somewhere, somehow, I was like a little, sometimes I'll just put that out there, you know what I mean? And he jumped on it, and he just the way that he was talking about Israel, I knew that he knew what he was talking about. And I did not know that he was Palestinian at the time. I knew he was like Middle Eastern. I couldn't tell what country. And then finally we got to discussing, the world is run by the Jews and all the Noahide law, the Talmud, 9/11, Trump, on and on and on and on and on. All this insane shit. So, wow, holy cow. Well, I'm really, really glad that you're here. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you'll come back, and hang out. I used to do this show every night, but I've just had a lot of different shit going on in my life, so it's not as frequent. And may God protect you and your people and take down the evil of Israel in this planet. Literally, it's humanity versus Israel. Literally, right now, the Jews are burning down forests in Argentina to go and build their new Jerusalem down there. Like I don't want to go off on a tirade. It'll get ugly. Robert says YouTube won't let me post links in the chat for some reason, but I go by the same name on Odyssey. Okay. Robert Pyle. Oh, Splattercat's here. See, that's my man right there, Splattercat, dude. All right, Splattercat with the win right there. For the win, he's got Robert's link right there. All right, that's not. Hold on, that's because you're not a mod. Okay. Sonata says, and to be sure, there is. Sorry, hold on. There's development and evolution to be done, but there is hope, and I want to see the good aspects of the true right be fulfilled. I 100% agree with you. Thank you. Good luck, Palestinian person. You must have seen some serious stuff. I hope you find some kind of justice eventually, but in your lifetime. Beautifully said. Mika, I did subscribe, and I respect all religions if they accept us as our religion. So I love Christ and that stuff. Okay. Wow, man, this is intense. Wow, what a day. What a day. Holy crow. All right. Well, I guess I shall get back to work. My music stopped, though. Hold on, I gotta get some music back on. Okay, hold on. A little bit of ambient music. Need a little bit of water. Excellent point, Sonata. Big talks in your chat today. I'm glad I showed up. Craig subscribed. Could stop. Oh, to my Substack. Thank you. Thank you. All right. A great man once said, shut up and draw. And that's what I'm about to do. So let's get down to business here, kids. Geez, what time is it? Oh, it's not late. All right. Okay. Nice. All right. I'm kind of thinking about Palestine right now. It's kind of sort of a serious, put me in a serious mood. Oh boy. So I don't know. Maybe I should talk about like spiritual stuff. I had a death in the family this week, and I'm not gonna go into a dark, sad stream or nothing. I'm not gonna do that. But it's a kind of a good time to rethink spirituality, the health of your soul, the future of your soul, and reorient yourself with God. So those things have been on my mind a lot this week. Um, Only you can live your life, and only you can die your death. So make it a good one. I have decided that I don't want to die in a hospital bed struggling against some symptom of old age, cancer or some ass shit like that. I want to die in battle. I would rather be taken down by a bullet or a sword or a bomb than by some fucking illness or old age. That's no way to die. Sorry to hear about the death, Donald. I hope you and the people connected to that person handle it all well. I believe there's something awaiting us all that is truthful, just, and beautiful. God bless you, sir. I'm sending you a big hug. Rexus says, I know one guy who's going peacefully. And hugs for you, too. Let's read a little bit here. We'll get moving on the art. Quick second. Robert Pyle, the new graphic novel. It's going to be awesome. Already or pre-ordered it. Thank you, sir. Very grateful to you. Craig says, some reasons I enjoy some Japanese anime. You're really hung up on anime. Seem to infiltrate it, and I can tell which Japanese culture is, is true to that. I love Japanese culture, so that's cool. Mika says, sometimes I try doing some videos about me while drawing, but I'm always end up so quiet, so I delete the video and just sigh. I just don't notice that I didn't talk much, but I just don't like talking. So while drawing, yeah. I mean, it's, to be honest with you, it's like riding a bicycle and juggling at the same time. It's really, really not easy to talk and draw at the same time. I can tell you that for sure. I mean, that's what I do, What happens with me is I get so excited about talking to the people in the chat. We have really good conversations that, like, I'm not focusing on the drawing, And so then I'm kind of like not doing my duty, and so I have to get back, But yeah, don't worry about it, Do you have a channel, like a YouTube channel, where I can see your artwork? Because I would love to see your work. That's cool. Cool beat. Sonata says, sorry to hear about the death. I think I read that already. For the record, actually, you do so much to give Western artists. You do so much to give Western artists a place to share their arts. Your opinion is more valid than if otherwise. Wow. That's a powerful thing to say. I appreciate that. There's more to come on that, by the way. I'm working with a committee of people to start a new art guild. And then also I'm starting a new show that's a Nationalist Art Review. So I will have, going to be putting a huge effort into marketing and getting our artists out there and connecting our community with the arts, It's a culture war. We're in a culture war, and we need to take back our own narrative. And that's what the arts are, it's our narrative. Okay? I don't think that everybody really gets how important this is and really powerful. Some people do, but we've been so brutalized by the left that people don't care about the arts anymore. They don't understand, its relationship to our life. It's a problem, you know what I'm saying? So, you'll get it in time. You guys already get it pretty much, but I'm just putting that out there. Putting it out there. Let's see. A lot of anime is kind of cringe, dude. I avoid that stuff. Jinro is fucking amazing, true. A lot of it, but I some Japanese anime. Sonata, I think anime is culturally authentic. Let's see. Mika says, no, I don't actually. I don't post about drawing. I used to post about a game called Toka Boca, but I want to post about my art. Just don't like it, and I'm just don't know what to do. Well, you don't have to do anything. You can just be you, Take your time. A good thing to do is actually watch art tutorials and learn from other people, learn techniques, practice the techniques. And then when you feel like, oh, I got a good handle on this, and then you can make a show and say like, check out this new skill that I'm learning. And then every week go out and learn a new skill. And then at the end of the week, you can say, okay, here's the progress I made. I've thanks to so-and-so and their channel, I'm learning about perspective drawing, learning about anatomy. I'm learning about color, light, and various things. All right. I'm jamming out to this music. Okay, I've been taking inspiration from Berserk and my stories. That's cool. Mika says, I'm gonna go out. I will be back soon. All right. Surprisingly, my battery is holding up fine. That's nice for a change. I had this idea recently that I should insure my hands. Like take out an insurance policy for my hands. Actually, my mom thought of this idea years ago, and it's starting to make sense to me. Like, I'd have to calculate, how much money I make from freelance over so much time, and then sort of figure that out somehow. But I think it's a good idea. All right, I gotta work something out here. I'm back. Wow, Mika, that was fast. Holy cow. One thing I do know one thing in Arabic. Is it Arabic? What's the language? Okay, it's Ana Bechebek. I know how to say Ana Bechebek. And why do I know how to say Ana Bechebek? Because I had a girlfriend in college who was from Egypt. And that is an amazing story. That is an amazing story. She was actually a professor, and she came over on a special kind of education program. I was like, how old was I? I don't know, 25 maybe, and she was probably like 35. And so I really, really, really loved her artwork. She worked in the printmaking department, and being from Egypt, she was pretty exotic. It was kind of a big deal. And I don't know. I just remember looking at her work in an art exhibit on campus, and she was there, and she was just staring at me while I was looking at her art. And like kind of out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that she was staring at me. And I sort of turned and looked at her, and we just had a little bit of an awkward moment, you know. Yeah, she's very beautiful. She was very, very beautiful. But I think more than that, we both had the arts to as like something in common, just something to talk about, And so we talked, and then that led to going out to places and staying out later and having deeper conversations and going back to her place and but as a kind of an exchange teacher or whatever you call it, she only was there for like a year, and then went back to Egypt, and we kept in touch. And she invited me to Egypt, and I gotta be honest, I was a little like, is this a safe? Would that be safe for me to travel alone to Egypt? Like I don't know. And because that part of the world has a lot of conflict, I don't think that Americans are very well liked over there. And so that never happened. That didn't transpire. But I have very beautiful memories. And then there was one time when we were sitting by the lake at night, the city lights reflecting off of the water, and beautiful summer night. And she said, I believe that if you say something and you really mean it and you really feel it in your soul, that no matter what language it's in, you can still understand it. And I'm like, really? That sounds kind of crazy. I don't know if I believe that. And she's like, well, I'm going to say something in Arabic and you tell me what I mean. And then she said, Ana behebek. And, she watched me very closely to see what I would say. And I kind of listened to my intuition. And I really, really gave it some time. And then I turned to her and I said, I love you. And she says, yes, that's what it means. Wow, pretty intense. It would, it would make a great movie. It would make a great movie. A very beautiful little summer affair. Wow. Anyway, moving on. Craig says, oh, you guys are still talking about manga. And people need to pay attention. Anti-lollicons, exact fine. Okay, you guys are having a good conversation over here. Never goon. That's funny. Seriously though, hands, shoulders, neck, eyes don't use those. Body parts to draw. Da-da. You guys having a great conversation here, frankly. Fixed rules. Mika says, so hey, if you have haters, just tell them kolkara, because that means eat shit. Oh boy, okay, all right. That means eat shit, and if they ask, just tell them it means I love you. Right, yeah, right. That's funny. That's funny. Mika, the old trick of saying one thing and meaning another. Now I know you're from the Middle East. Ooh, that's a good one. I say this with love. Haha. That is funny. I don't know, historically, just like anti-whites who are all races, some draw what they see out of insult, but some who aren't anti-white draw out of admiration. That is incredible, but was there more communication going on other than the words? Well, her eyes, I mean, you know, I'm being vague. I'm not, going into the details of the situation because it was kind of a very intimate, romantic experience, just trying to put it in terms that are subtle enough where you guys can kind of use your imagination a bit, you know. The environment, you know, like the where we were in our sort of pre-relationship friendship or whatever, all the things that had kind of led up to that. You know, there was a certain energy. You know what I mean? And so yeah. All right. I was quite the Don Juan in college. I had I was very. I don't like to say I was promiscuous. I was never like one of these predator type guys. I was in love with every woman that I ever was intimate with. You know, and you know, when those relationships dissolved, I cried. You know, like you know, I wasn't that kind of like, you know, bang bros, hipster type guy or whatever. I was still emotionally involved, you know. Okay. You know that feeling when you're drawing and it turned out amazing and you use a pen to add design going on and you mess it up and what that happens to me just crash out. Yeah, that's a big time crash out, no doubt. Ouch. Yeah, that's pretty rough. You know, with inking, I work out all the troubles in pencil, and then the lines are just there to tell my brush where to go. So, you know, wherever you can make mistakes, do that in some kind of a medium that you can erase. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can screw up with inking, you know, and then it's like, ah, shit, you know. And in my case, I do what's called Photoshop surgery. Okay. So, like, if I have a problem with an image, I mess it up, I'll get angry, but I'll just be like, okay, I got to go into Photoshop later, and then I'll touch that up, and that happens. It's just it's not, you know, I've done that lots of times, you know. In the case with this kind of work, it's going to end up digital. You know, it's going into print, so you know there'll be a digital file in the end. If anybody ever wants to buy these pages of art, you know, and there's a mistake on it. There's this. I can use. There's a type of whiteout that they have for comics. I don't really use it. I that's a whole other story, but whatever, you know. But yeah, I should consider selling these pages. That could be. good thing. We got to get the thing published, and then we got to do the marketing, you know. But hopefully, you know, if this thing really takes off and I get a really good fan base, then I'll probably auction off the artwork. You know what I'm saying? That'd be awesome if I could do that. That'd be most excellent. Most excellent indeed. All right, let's see what else is going down here. That's incredible. Oh, I read that. I don't like commercials. Oh, that's not a commercial. Hold on, guys. Just getting some music. Shut up. There you go. Minimal House. Can't lose with Minimal House. What time is it? All right, hold on. Oh man, I might say goodbye soon, but I've really enjoyed hanging out, and I'm still looking forward to your stream later. Thank you. Actually, tomorrow night, around 7 p.m. my time, I should be doing a stream with one of my friends she does a political stream on the true history of Germany. She's in the chat quite a lot, actually. Critical Review, she goes by the name, well, that's like the name of her show. Anyway, Edda Volk, I believe she goes by that name. She wants to have a debate. She wants to have a debate with me about Nick Fuentes. She believes he's a plant, and I don't. And so I'm just going to have her on and show media clips and stuff while we talk. Just kind of testing out my computer to make sure that it can do this media review show. So it should be kind of fun. And then there'll be an open chat in that as well. So you guys can partake in the conversation. Who here thinks that Nick Fuentes is a plant, like an FBI plant? Any of you guys? It is getting a little on the late side, you're right. I still use whiteout, clean up, very good. Hippocratic Oath is here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thinking of getting a data extractor in my case. My computer's hard drive can't be salvaged. Okay. Craig says the one is the continuation of the meme comic. This one is, yes. Excuse me. The one I'm doing right now. Yeah. Is that one available yet? No, I'm sorry. I'm still working on it. I apologize. But it is in progress. We've got 10, 12 more pages being colored right now. I'll get that. Rexus, I've been trying to find her channel on YouTube. It's not on YouTube. It's on some weird news channel. When you come on the show tomorrow and you'll get the info. Mika says, what time is it for you right now? For me, it's 3:53 in the morning. Mika, you're crazy. What are you doing up at that hour? Crazy girl. Don't ask why I'm awake at this time. Okay, I won't. It is almost 9 o'clock p.m. my time. It's like 8:55 p.m. I do have to work tomorrow. Anyway, Sonata says, I'll try and check that stream out, but I might get going. All the best. All right. Robert says, I don't think he's a plant. He's not fully our guy. And not our guy, I absolutely agree with that. How is he not our guy? I have some ideas what you mean, but I want to hear why you think that. I have to go to bed. Okay, Craig. Have a good one. Take care, Craig. Good night. Hippocratic Oath. What are your thoughts on Nick Fuentes? Is he an FBI plant or not? Let's see what this says. Hippocratic Oath says, Nick is Catholic. Why torture yourself by watching him? Ooh, dude, that was a strong thing to say. That's funny. I don't even know how to reply to that. I don't know what to say. Okay, I just view him as a person that is adjacent to us, has politics that are similar, but doesn't fully have our politics. That's fair enough. I think that's you know. I mean, yeah. I mean, it would take time to go through every single talking point. It's not what we're really doing here, but I think that's a pretty fair assessment. What you're saying. He's just got his own brand. He's got his own. I think the Catholicism thing is obviously a very significant. Hold on. It's an extremely significant framework. We're race first, not religion first. But I think that itself is problematic. If we could have a spiritual racialism, that's what we need. We need to care about our race as much as we care about our religion. And how do you do that? How does that? Can the two be combined? Even, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know that they're like compatible per se. They're totally different things in a way. And maybe that's the wrong thinking. Maybe that's the wrong approach. What is it that will make white people collectivize? That is the question. And I mean, if tomorrow somehow Catholicism was the way to make all whites join together globally and overthrow the anti-white system, then I'd be like, oh, sign me up, because I want the system to be destroyed. We have to destroy the system and replace it with one that's in our image. You understand what I'm saying? So, tricky questions. But no, I'm not. I mean, I'm not against Catholics. I'm just saying that that's your stuff. Like you do you. Go do your thing, and God bless you, and that's beautiful. But I just cannot see how that is the answer for our cause. What is your drawing you do? What is your drawing you do? That's an interesting question. Well, this is comic book drawing. You can call it comic book illustration. And there's a website, Splattercat, if you're still here, can you type in newdelphimedia.com, Delphi, DELPHI newdelphimedia.com, and it'll take you to this comic book, and all of everything's in color. You'll see videos, cartoons. So that'll answer your question a bit more. But anyway, I didn't know that. What is the question? Nick has two priests that watch his show, and one of them calls him out whenever he curses. Really? Nick has enough fights with other Catholics that watch every word he says. Interesting. I just view him as a person. Da da da. Yes. Okay. All right. Theo Howard did a whole video on Nick because he didn't spurg enough on the Jews when he was on Tucker Carlson. And that to me is a non-issue because he was on Tucker Carlson. This was his moment to break into the normie right. And so he was being a good boy. I think that's very obvious. I think that's the right thing to do. I think that spurging out on that show would have backfired. Excuse me. People can't take the full dose of medicine all at once. They can't. They're just not. They just can't. It's just not how people work, So I don't know. That's my view, and I'm sticking to it. Damn it. Theo Howard, brilliant, but Nick was a guest. It wasn't his show. Okay. Mika says, I'm sorry, I meant, what is your favorite drawing you did? I didn't notice I didn't write favorite. I don't have a favorite. I can't say I have a favorite. But if I go back to here, I think I can explain a little bit about the different, like how the different forms of art satisfy me. So, or any artist for that matter. And how they function in the movement and things like that. So this kind of art is conceptual art, meaning it's surreal. Pull up an example. Like that's like a dream. This is something that you could see in a dream, and so you have a lot of freedom when you do these kinds of works because you're not stuck to reality where like a thing has to look like a thing in real life. Although this is stylized, it's still realistic. The poetry, aesthetics, mood, feeling, soul, those things are all really, really, really important. And each artwork has kind of a different quality. This is very loose. This has a very brushy watercolor looseness to it, which is more organic and it feels like nature. And for the landscape and the water and the women and it fits this aesthetic and this concept. Whereas here it's an illustration about an angel giving the power to the British people to fight off this horrible dragon, and that's based on the myth of help me out, guys. Who killed the dragon in British mythology? I'm blanking out. There's a famous there's sculptures all over UK with this, and it's a big thing. So this is Saint George. I'm sorry. So it's the myth of Saint George reimagined, and it's slightly surreal. Again, this is symbolic. Everything like this kind of work allows me to use symbols and to say something, even though it's the hidden. It's not hidden. The meaning. The meaning is slightly hidden in such a way that you can, if you really think about it and you research it and you invest in the artwork, you will get the full meaning of it. And that is a powerful experience for the viewer. Whereas other forms of paintings are kind of like music and poetry. They're more mysterious, and you don't want to say too much, because it takes the mystery away. So different forms of art have different ways of communicating, and they have different levels, if that makes sense. Hit the like button. Okay. Let's St. George. Theo Howard read that. Da, da, da. Does this answer your question at all? Am I confusing you? I don't know. I love doing portraits of people, friends, because it's about my relationship to that person and my love or my friendship for that person. You know, if you look in her face and look at the way that this is, you can't say exactly what it is. There's no words, but you know how she feels. You just know it because you're a human being and you have intuition, you have heart, you have soul. And you look at this image and you already get it. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway. All right. So should I close down shop or should I keep going? Hippocratic Oath. Do you want me to keep going or shut up? Honestly, I still find it odd that I can write in Norse runes but not Latin letters on paper. Well, that says something about you, I guess, bro. Arrgh. Behold the truth. Shut up and draw. Okay, all right, we'll get back to work. Sorry, I'm getting too full of myself. Too full of myself. Yes, in the words of the great Hippocratic Oath, shut up and draw. Actually, that's somebody else. You remember that guy. Were you there that day? There was just some random guy that came to the show and I was kidding. I was in like a big speech about politics or something or other. I was going off, you know how I do that. And then he's like, shut up and draw. It was funny. It was humbling. Oh, just something to laugh about, I guess. Yeah. Anyway. The chutzpah, yeah, man. Can you imagine the chutzpah? How is Corwin? Carwin, that's an interesting question. The author of this book, he is fine. We communicate pretty regularly, as you can imagine. There's a lot of technical stuff, like, you know, just stuff to make sure that the book is on the way and the pages are coming and, you know, technical stuff. He and I have known each other for a long time and have talked about all kinds of different stuff. We were on JF once a long time ago, promoting some other project. JF is a character. But yeah, actually, I spoke to Carwin, and we are going to have Richard Spencer on my show to do a book review of this graphic novel when it's finished. So Carwin is friends with Richard Spencer, so that's like a. And Richard likes me. I had him on my show years ago, and we got a good rapport. So that'll be great. Like having Richard Spencer on the show is gonna blow up the show. It'll be a huge thing, and a lot of fun. I forget the name of the show, but he did a movie review show years ago. It was pretty popular in its time. I can't remember the name of it for some reason, but damn if I can't remember that damn name. So he's really, really into doing these kinds of things. I'm excited as hell about it. I can't wait. It's Richard is like Spencer. Or sorry, or Spencer. Richard is like Fuentes in the sense that like I don't agree with every single thing that he says. I don't have to. I don't feel like I have to. He's just so intelligent and so eloquent, and he's got a great sense of humor. He's got a good heart. You know, can I get a little PO'd at some of his takes? Yes, sometimes I do. But I'm like, whatever. That's the landscape we're in. And whatever. That's his. It's the same strategy or the same philosophy I use with everyone. I always just say, you do you. Like, I don't think that we all have to agree all the time on everything. I think that's kind of an insane thing to believe, or like, why would we make that a rule? It's not gonna work. It's not gonna help. We'll sabotage ourselves if we do that. Okay. Walk into someone else's house and shout orders. Right. Silence. Draw now. Talk later. Back up, sir. Like, why are you so close to the drawing? I'm so nonchalant. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this guy's like punching through a door. There's gonna be like pieces of wood all over the place, and then the next page I don't have drawn yet. Really, it's not worth showing you. Hippocratic Oath says Spencer, Corwin, and JF have all fought with and know Nick. Yeah, it's interesting how Spencer has figured out that Nick is he's the new Spencer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's in the lead right now, and so he's smart enough to know, like, okay, I need to talk to this guy. And God damn it, dropped it. Pardon my language, I dropped something. So that's cool to see, but I gotta say that, like, when Fuentes and Spencer are on stream together, there's a weird kind of I don't know what to call it, but like it's sort of like, oh, how do I describe this? I gotta be careful how I phrase this. I don't know. They seem like they're really trying to agree with each other, or they have this kind of like we're the elite and we're in the know and we're above everybody else kind of thing. It's hard to put a finger on, but it's more maybe of a feeling that I have, just like the tone in which that they speak. I could be wrong, but it just feels that way to me. And it's not like that's a big deal or that I should care about that or whatever. But I am how do I say, like, I always warn people about, like, we're not here to agree with each other in the sense that, like, the truth does not require that everybody agree on it. Am I making sense? Like, you don't get to the truth by consensus. People, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we all agree on this thing, so therefore it's true. That's fucking bullshit. That's totally unscientific. It's ridiculous. So whenever I see people getting into kind of a social state where they're kind of patting themselves on the back about, oh, we agree on X or whatever, then I feel like it's kind of leaning into that a bit, and I get a little concerned. But I'm splitting hairs here. It's not really a problem. Fuentes is a massive admirer of Spencer. You know, I'm a big admirer of Spencer, even though I don't agree with everything. But I remember seeing Richard Spencer on like Fox News or something, and he did, like, oh, today we got a gentleman on who's becoming influential in politics, and his main thing is he talks about white people. And oh, welcome, Mr. Spencer. Da 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 da. Hey, thanks for having me. And da 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 da. And then he like says his talking points and stuff. And I'm like, I fucking like this guy. Like, how come nobody's talking about white people and our interests? Well, like, this we need more of this. So then I went and looked him up on the internet, and now I'm here. You know what I mean? Like oh shit. And it's like that meme of like, oh, little Bobby, don't look, close your eyes, and oh, it's too late, Mom. I'm a Giga Chad now. That's that happened. But I mean, it did happen at the same time that I was discovering like Amran, and all of that kind of like white power stuff. So be careful what you ask for. All right. My ops. Reject the ops. Reject the ops. Oh boy. Let's read some comments. Carl Sama is honestly more of our guy. I've never heard of Carl Sama. I think he is legitimate National Socialist. Carl Sama? Who the hell is that? I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna write down his name. That's weird. How come I don't know that person? Mika says, guys, can you stop talking about some people? I'm new here. I just found you today. Wah, wah. Well, let me give you a little orientation, Mika. Everybody here belongs to a movement that is in America and in Europe, Australia, all the white countries. And we're a special kind of group of people where we've discovered, against all odds, that the Jews rule the world. And more than that the Jews want to kill off all white people. It's called white genocide. And so, in that way, we are very, very much, I guess, allies of the Palestinians. And so, this culture that we're in is very complicated. It's very deep. There's many, many, many different people with different ideas, and we argue about our ideas and this and that and the other thing. So I understand that you're probably a little confused because you don't know who we're talking about. But how this is meaningful to you is understanding that we are out here fighting Jewish power. And that is definitely helpful for your people and your cause. You see my point? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, yeah. And if anyone else has something to contribute to that, feel free. Mika, I need to run away. I'll stop asking about dangerous people. Um, his channel is Dead Internet Despot. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Dead Internet Despot. Okay. So regarding the like Fuentes going after Joel Davis and that, I made some posts about that saying, it's not about optics. These guys are they've got real skin in the game. They're going after a corrupt government that is in the last phases of like shutting down free speech in Australia. And I guess I can see people's points that like dressing up like that and going into public like that and making a noise like that, blah blah blah, blah. It's scary to some people, it's offensive to some people, and maybe in that regard it's going against the mission, of getting people on board with the cause. So I do agree that there is something of a statement there, but simultaneously, it also is a demonstration of power. It's a demonstration of strength. It's a demonstration of will. And we need more of that kind of courage. I would say, places like Australia, UK, Germany, they need more of that optics, not less. You get my point? Yeah, so it's a debate, it's a debate. Hippocratic Oath says, has Joel Davis thought of coming to the United States until the tide turns? He's in jail right now, dude. They arrested him. And not only that, he's going through human rights abuses in jail. So, like, they're not feeding him regularly. They're not allowing him to bathe, change his clothes, clean his clothes. They're making him very, very, very uncomfortable. They just denied him bail, which is going to force him into jail for another month. So that's why this is a big topic right now. This is something that's going on. And Fuentes was a total douchebag about it. He posted some really rude and mean-spirited comments about Joel Davis that demonstrate that Nick Fuentes is really still just a teenager. He's really just a kid. If he can't understand how inappropriate he was in acting like that, he's kind of like too big for his britches. He doesn't have anybody to tell him he's wrong. It's like he doesn't have a father figure to step in and say, like, you shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? It is awful. Yeah. I know. Speaking of awful, I've got awful news for you guys. I have to wrap up the show and hit the showers, get ready for work. I'm ahead now to play games. Have fun, Mika. Wonderful meeting you, even though it's 4:24. Bye, my lovely. Okay, God bless you. Big hug. Big hug. I see the same thing in Canada and England. Yeah, exactly. It's like those places are under really, really difficult circumstances right now. Anyway, okay, God bless you guys. Good night. Thank you. It was a wonderful show. And keep on rocking in the free world, okay? Have a good night, Kent. All right, God bless. We'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.